Hey everybody, and welcome to Cold Turkey. I'm Paulie T, and today with me is a good old friend of mine, a guy I met in the treatment centre about 8-9 years ago. So, welcome to Ruairc.
Yeah. Thanks, Paul. Good to be here.
Oh, bro, I'm so glad you came, and I'm delighted you agreed to do this little interview.
Yeah.
Well, Ruairc, just to give a little background, you're clean 4 years now.
Almost 4 years.
Almost 4 years.
4 years.
Well done, my man.
Yeah,
Well
thanks,
done.
man.
It's absolutely great to see you looking great. Just for the people, tell us how bad did your addiction go, bro?
At the end of it all, I was on O'Connell Bridge with a cup in my hand. I was pitching tents around the city. I'm not even sure for how long I kind of done that, but basically homeless anyway for a period of time. Something which I always thought never happened to me. Do you know that way?
Yes. And were you intravenously using heroin?
Intravenously using, yeah. Almost losing limbs because of it, and being so powerless to do anything about it. I continued on. Do you know that way?
Yes, bro.
Yeah.
And like myself, you've been in several thousands, several treatment centres over the years, bro. That's where we met.
Yeah.
Do you remember that when we met that time?
I do. How can I forget, really? Yeah, I mean, you were like fucking Jesus walking in the door because you were packing, you know, that way. It was like, hallelujah, this geezer has something lovely, you know. And we became really good friends, and although our journeys went in separate directions, we've always crossed paths, which is cool too.
It's always a pleasure to check in with you, bro, and it's great to check in with you now that we're both clean, because anytime we've checked in before, I was clean and you weren't, and then I was off the wagon and you were doing well, and this is the first time we're both clean since the treatment centre 8 years ago.
Wow.
Or that we've met and that we're both clean. Yes.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it?
Bro, how did you do it? Because I know, like myself, you're a hopeless addict, or you were, and that's your own admission. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, come here, I couldn't stop using. I mean, I've been doing what I was doing for fucking over 25 years, like. Alcohol being my drug of choice at the start, and then because of the disease and the progression and all that kind of shit, I ended up, you know, using stuff and doing stuff that I fucking swore I'd never do.
Yeah.
Heroin, methadone tablets, cocaine, you name it. Like.
I know, you were hardcore and you were full on.
Yeah, and intravenous using, Paul, and fucking sticking needles in my legs and arms and almost losing limbs.
I remember your leg was at risk of losing it, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's a miracle I still have it, to be honest. Like,
it was touch and go, wasn't it, at one point?
Yeah. You know, and at the time it's kind of, you know, I look back on that now and I go, fucking hell, you know, but I just realised kind of how powerless I was to do anything about it, you know, the way I was driven, you know, and physically and mentally dependent on fucking narcotics.
Yeah.
You know.
What was the final thing that gave you the urge to get clean, work?
Tough love, Paul.
Ooh.
In a nutshell, tough love.
Tell me more,
yeah, it's like, I think there's an awful lot to be said for that, you know. I could have been, or was, fucking highly enabled all my life, I think, you know, by siblings, me mum, me dad, people always forgiving me for what I do, and you know, it's Ruairc, this is what he does, and God love him, and blah blah blah, you know. At the end of it all, I was living in my dad's place. He bought a lovely place in Bettystown, and it was for me too, like, and I was living in that, and it just obviously brought me dad to his knees as well, because it's not only us we affect, we affect fucking everyone. Do you know what I mean? And the opposite to that happens in recovery too, like, just to say. But
hey, that's a really good point, man.
Yeah.
When we get well, everything around us changes.
Yeah.
Everything.
Absolutely, like. Yeah. And that's the truth. You know, that's the fucking truth, like. But my dad reached his breaking point and said he'd enough, and he put me out on the street, and that's what kind of saved me, you know. And that might sound strange, right, but I needed to really experience that in order to bring me to this place internally.
But I'm sure at the time you didn't realise it was tough. No, it was like, you bastard.
At the time it was the fucking neck of you, like, putting me out, you know, that way. Yeah, but I had that hatred in me anyway, Paul, from a young age.
Bro, talk to me about that. This is the stuff I want to get into. The hatred.
Hatred.
we've got to look at why we use drugs.
Yeah,
talk to me about that hatred.
Now, even now, I kind of go, what was it all about? Like, but I don't know. I think I had this just uncomfortable dis-ease in me, that formed this kind of self-hatred, and while I had this self-hatred, and I could only call it that because butchering yourself with needles and fucking shoving copious amounts of drugs into your body is a form of self-hatred.
Absolutely.
Like, and I had that inwards, which reflected my outward world. Like, do you know what I mean? So I hated myself, I hated the world and everything in it. Yeah. So, you know, I don't know. Now, even today, I do think, fucking hell, that was deep.
How, you know? Now, just on that, because we'll go into the recovery bit in a bit, but that's a big part of your recovery. Yeah. How's your relationship with yourself today, Rob?
Yeah, I have a good relationship with myself today, and it's ongoing. It's a journey. Recovery is a journey of self-discovery, like.
Yes.
So it's on a much more loving and caring relationship for myself, and in that way I have it for other people. Like,
absolutely, because we can only give what we got for ourselves.
Yeah, 100%. Yes. Yeah, 100%. And that is the journey, and that's that's the way it goes, and hopefully it continues. Yeah. I do prayer, meditation, Paul. I'm big into it. I had an experience. Is all I can say. Is
do you want to share it a little bit?
Well, the experience is kind of what changed me life. It changed how I see myself and how I see the world and everything in it. It was like from somebody who was so caught up in self and in addiction and that destructive pattern and way of thinking and feeling about myself. For that to change could only be called like a spiritual awakening, and that happened.
Well, yeah, your spirit was asleep.
Yeah,
and then it evolved.
Yeah, and even now, even saying this now, I'm thinking all through my years, and there was a small little part of me, a little voice that used to say, "Ruairc, this isn't the way it's meant to be." But I was so powerless to do fucking anything about it anyway, that I just continued on doing it, and you know, over the years in treatment centres where we met, I'd hear people coming down talking about this gift of desperation and that recovery is an inside job and all this kind of stuff, and I used to sit there nodding my head, but I hadn't a fucking clue what they were on about. Yes. But what changed for me and all of that, I suppose, was feeling this stuff on an internal level, and that gift of desperation I felt. Any other time I was always on a head level in treatment centres thinking, yeah, right, I'm getting clean and I'll live my life and it's going to be cool. Wasn't fucking happening, do you know what I mean? Like,
slightly more
so
complex.
So until I kind of experienced that gift of desperation, I had this experience then, it was the 3rd of July 2017 at 5:30 in the morning. I'll never fucking forget it. I'd been under that mental torture with the disease.
You were clean though.
I was clean. I was almost 4 weeks clean. The fucking mind was so active and powerful, and it was still full of this self-hatred, self-loathing. Right. Like, what are you doing here? This is what you do. You come into places like this, you give everyone hope, and you fucking leave and you go using. So what are you even doing here? Blah, blah, blah. Really loud. Like,
this is what they call the critical, the supercritical ego.
Right. Okay. Yeah, and I fell asleep on the 3rd of July. It was the first time I've had a sleep in 4 weeks because I'd done a cold turkey rattle in St. James's Camino Treatment Centre, which I'm really grateful for, just to say.
Sure thing,
and when I fell asleep, for that hour I woke up and it was quiet, silence, for the first time in God knows how long, in my life nearly, do you know what I mean?
Wow. Yeah.
It was so silent, but there was a question on my mind, and it was why I found it so hard to surrender to this way of life, to the recovery way of life, like. And there was a book beside me. It was a powerful experience. There was a book beside me, and I had a blank page, which is meant to represent all you know about recovery, which is nothing. My problem over the years was thinking I knew it all. And the question was why I found it so hard to surrender. So I started writing these questions, and as I'm writing them, I'm answering them. Now, I was incapable of having this kind of a thought process right away up to this point, like, so I believe it was like something came to me that night.
You had instant answers to any question you had.
Yeah,
I know this.
Right, and this was a feeling. It was a feeling. It was of peace, of well-being, of love. All will be well. All will be well. I remember it distinctly, right? But here's the funny part, right? I got to the end of all this, and I wrote, "This isn't about what I'm giving up. This is about what I'm gonna gain," right? And I shut the book, I put it under the bed, and my mind kicked in. I went, "Don't tell anyone about this. They fucking throw away the key this time if they think you're out of fucking, in communication with whatever it is, like." And right, and I stuck the thing where I was thinking to myself, well, I'm not fucking telling anyone this. They really think I'm mad. I went into group that morning, and the group's topic opened up on surrender, and it was like, I can't fucking believe the very thing I might have been writing about. Couldn't wait to tell them all then, do you know what I mean? They were like, "That's
this is
brilliant,
great."
man.
I identify so much with that.
It was something
because
else.
when you start doing something spiritual and deep from your truth, the whole world conspires to help you.
Yeah.
And throw signs in front of you.
Yeah.
This is when you know you're on the spiritual path, my brother.
Right. And my friends even joke now, and call me the guru. You know,
bro,
right?
Yeah.
But like, and whatever. We don't
the Roo,
we call
you
Roo,
so
the
guru.
But it's not even like that, you know. I've had a few experiences like that since, but that one was the one that started me on my journey.
Wow. Yeah.
Powerful.
Man, I so identify with that. Get the instant answers to the question. You haven't even formulated the question and the answer's coming. That's a connection with the divine, with the Most High, bro. That's a moment there, right there. And you know what? You remembered it, the date, the time, everything. You identified that for what it was. You were getting a get out of jail card there, bro, and you knew it. Some part of you knew it. And that thing you're plugged into, that's the collective unconsciousness, bro. You plugged into the universe, my man, and you saw that there is life. And then you had the thought, the plaguing thought that every addict fears, I have to give up this. I have to end this love affair with this. But then you saw it a different way. You thought, no, it ain't what I'm giving up. It's what I'm about to receive. Yes, my bro.
And like some people don't get that, right? And they look at you and you know, maybe it scares some people. I don't know, but like, I 100% believe that something changed within me that night. It revealed itself to me, wherever it is, the universe, the unconscious, whatever, you know, loving, powerful energy that we're all a part of, had its influence in my life. And from that day on, I'm not saying that I was miraculously cured of the disease of addiction, no, but that was the starting point, and that gave me what I always say was the honesty, the open-mindedness, and the willingness to continue. And I had to be practicing honesty and open-mindedness, because I came from this place of deceit and behind the scenes. And
you were one of those guys on the street work that you wouldn't trust your tenor with, you know. Keep your eye on him, wouldn't you? Like, I was that way too. But that's why we identified with you. You know?
So like, that was the beginning of it. And then, like, you know, while I was in that treatment centre, which tragically burnt down there a couple of years ago. They're in the middle of a rebuild at the minute. They're on Facebook. But I met people putting your path, Paul. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. Talk about that,
times.
About the amazing timing of the universe when you're trying to do something right. Tell us about that, Rob, because this is the magical stuff that's available to everybody in recovery.
And it is.
And it is magical and nothing short of.
Synchronicities, doors shut, other ones open, people are putting your path at a certain time when they're meant to be.
And others are taken out.
And it
needs to be that way.
The
culling of the bullshit, isn't it?
It's mad, like. It is mad the way it works, you know what I mean? And when you're tuned into it or open to it, the journey begins then, I think.
Would you agree on this path that here's another phenomenon that happens? Every problem that comes that you deal with in a correct way turns out to give you a better result than if the problem was never there in the first place. Or I've been too
like, that's a bit
optimistic.
Deep, man. Wow.
Snake! Private joke there, folks.
Come here. I believe now I believe that things happen for a reason.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And although you mightn't see them for what they are, at the time they're happening, in hindsight, when I look back and go, Jesus Christ, so that's why that was that way, and that's why this happened, and that, you know, and I see kind of synchronicities happening, and like we said, people come in and out of your life at certain times when they're meant it and all that, and
yes.
And it's just mad. It's an amazing journey, like, you know what I mean?
How's your day these days, Ruairc? How's the living situation? Did you manage to get sorted? And
yeah, funny enough now, and
coming from homelessness and drug addiction, what's your status right now?
Yeah, well, I always say jokingly, like, I came from O'Connell Bridge to Dublin 4 within a year. You know, and Dublin 4 is like the snobby postcode of Dublin.
Yes, like, I'm glad you said it for our American viewers.
So, and I say that, and I don't say that, you know, for me to look good.
You're living in the best postal area in Dublin,
yeah. I say that because it's like, that's the power of this programme, or that's the power of...
No, man, that's
whatever
the power
it
of your
is.
Spirit, my guy.
Right.
The programme helps you to the Spirit.
Yeah.
The programme's not holy. The programme is a route to holiness.
Yeah.
You've got to make that distinction.
Spiritual, I would call it.
Or spiritual.
Yeah.
When I say holiness, I mean completeness.
Right.
Oneness.
With you. Right, okay. Yeah.
Wholeness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I found my way through, like, the people who were putting me part in that treatment centre gave me some of the best direction I've ever got in my life, like. Yes. One was to go to a recovery house and get a day programme. Which was,
is this down in Enfield?
Yeah, Enfield.
Yeah, shout out to Enfield and to the priest down there. What's his name?
Father Dennis.
Father Dennis, and all the work that man does down there, and all the guys that came through that place and got clean. Shout out to Father Dennis, much respect, and to all the boys that work down there that I've met over the years. Just want to say that, thanks.
Yeah, and look them up on Facebook, by the way. They're in the middle of a
rebuild
and could do with all the support.
They're rebuilding the burned down place.
Brilliant place, absolutely brilliant place. Like, but anyway, the people who were there gave me my direction. You know, and one was to get a recovery house, go to a recovery house, right? Spend a few months in there while attending a day programme, while being part of a fellowship, a 12-step fellowship, like. And because I was doing them things over time, my life began to change, and I was introduced to Dublin Simon community in Salcha at the time, and I kept meeting up with this particular person once a week just to tell them kind of where I was at, and because I'd only a limited amount of time in the recovery house that I was in, and it was, you know, almost up, so I needed to find somewhere else, and they set me up in a place just around the corner from you here, Paul, with a 2-year lease in it.
Right.
Fabulous, top of the range, gaff, brand new, everything. I was like, fucking hell. Like,
but you only had that for 2 years, wasn't it?
I had that for, now, that was me contract was for 2 years, but lo and behold, the universe had other fucking ideas there too as well, you know? Yeah. So, I spent just over a year in that place, and on my way back from Portugal, this time last year actually, I got a phone call to say that there was a place available in Dublin 4 of all fucking places, like, so.
Oh, wow.
So I just thought, I left there and I went to Dublin 4, and
to put that in context for you guys, can you imagine being homeless in in say LA, on Skid Row in LA, and then you end up getting a place in the Hollywood Hills, and that's that kind of the contrast.
Yeah.
I was in Skid Row actually. When I was over there in LA. Yeah, man, I was in Skid Row in a tent with a couple of Crips smoking crack.
Lovely.
Last year. How that happened, I don't know, but I never even wanted to go to America initially, and then I'm in Skid Row in a tent with a few Crips. They were showing me how to Crip walk. yeah. They were showing me how to Crip walk. Well, my pal was going to get the rock.
Right.
Yeah, I'm in there with 3 homies in the tent, man. Crazy shit. Yeah.
Like, fucking hell, where your life brings you now,
isn't
it mad, like?
I know.
It is mad, you know?
And
I'm just blessed. I'm blessed to be still alive.
Yes,
you know?
I know, Ruairc. I remember you
never mind where I'm living or what I'm doing. I'm fucking but I'm blessed to be alive.
I remember you nearly lost a leg.
Intravenous use.
Intravenous use, bro. That was scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that stuff happened to me regularly, Paul, where I'd be waking up in hospitals surrounded by doctors after being in fucking car crashes, van crashes, bike crashes, all as a direct result of me using, like, or I'd wake up in hospitals after overdoses surrounded by doctors, and the first thing I'd think about when I'd come to is like, right, where the fuck am I and how am I going to get out of here to get me drugs?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
For sure.
And like, it's not like that today.
No, and it's great. What is working for you today most of all, Ruairc? What keeps... It's a daily maintenance. You said it there a minute ago.
Yeah.
So what do you do? What advice have you got for people coming into clean from years of drug addiction to maintain that thing? The maintenance of that... You know, when
the nurturing of your spirit is basically what it is.
And
like
the maintenance of that, the daily maintenance. What do you do, bro, for that?
Well, like I keep it very simple, Paul. I keep it very fucking simple. And what I do basically, I mean, first thing in the morning, I have this kind of set little thing, right? Like, instead of reaching for me drugs, I'm reaching for me vitamins. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
I'm picking up a bit of literature. You know, when I say literature, it's like, 12-step literature, which just connects me into, plugs me into recovery mode straight away. So that's first thing in the morning. Prayer and meditation has been a huge part of my recovery.
Right.
But on a practical level, action-wise, like, I get regular meetings. I do a bit of step work on myself. That's the inside stuff, which I reveal with my sponsor and all that kind of thing. I have a job to go to, and I just live right, Paul. I just try and live right. I wake up and I'm grateful to be free of active addiction, and I try and express that gratitude if I can and help someone else out along the fucking way. And
the more you do that, the better sense of self you get too, isn't it?
Yeah. No, I'm here, and it's a journey. It's ongoing, and some days are better than others. And life on life's terms, as they say, can be challenging, can be difficult. You know what I mean? And
for sure.
And especially for people in recovery, like. But I'd say anyone who gets clean and leaves a treatment centre, there are many paths to recovery, like. You found yours, Paul. I found my way. What works for me, you found what works for you.
Sure.
And everyone's different on that respect.
That's why on this forum I love to get each individual's own little bit what helped them, because there are people out there, bro, and they don't know what to do. Yeah. Because nobody can understand the desperate situation of being strung out on heroin.
And what I'd really kind of basically say to people is find like-minded people and stay connected.
Yes.
If people are recovery orientated, and you have a circle of people around you who are all the same as you and focused on the same thing you're focused on, well, then you're in with a shout, because I learned the hard way that you cannot do this on your own. It's all about the connection. Do you know
Absolutely, bro. But they say the quality of our lives depends on the quality of our relationships. Yeah. And even our relationships, not just our intimate relationships, but all our relationships.
Yeah.
Like, I found since I got well, my relationships with everybody got enhanced. Yeah. I mean, with the postman, they're just the little things, just people notice a different vibe.
Yeah, and a good friend of mine always says that her inside reflects our outside.
Absolutely, bro.
It's all true, like.
This place was a trap house. It was like a crack house.
Yeah.
A crack house, as you know in the States, what we call this was a shoddy gaff.
Yeah.
But shooting gallery, we call them here. They call them a trap in America, I believe.
Right.
I had holes in the ceilings. I had this place was in bits, man. But as soon as I got well, it's only 6 months I got my place really sweet and nice. As soon as I got right on the inside, I took care of the outside. And it reflected in my environment. It happened without effort, naturally almost. People started helping me. My friends started to dig in. They'd see me do something, give me a hand, because they saw me rebuilding and re-energizing. And it's like my teeth work. I didn't care about that shit. I worried about my inside. I got that right first. And I've done everything I can. On my inside. So now it's time for the delta.
And here's your brother. I'm going over now in the the next few weeks I'm going over to get mine done. Do you know what I mean as well?
But yours are pretty good and they're not too bad.
Well, they'd be very yellow as well, and I'm self-conscious of that. Do you know what I mean?
I'm only getting that way now. I didn't give a shit. And now I care now. But, you know, like I was just trying to get through the day without dying.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
so I wasn't caring about my teeth. Yeah. They were an afterthought.
Yeah.
You know?
Teeth, what?
But now, teeth. Those they're teeth. No, now, bro, I do care. I want, you know, I'm opening a little hair salon. I want to get my teeth done. Yeah. But this is the first time in my, like, I don't know, last 15 years I've given that any thought.
Yeah.
Because my spirit was crushed.
Yeah.
That shit didn't matter.
Yeah, and it's 100% an inside job, like, definitely
recovery
is.
And coming back to mental, spiritual health.
Yeah, it is. So I think, like, every person has their own kind of journey to go on.
Sure.
People will find and reach their breaking point where they can no longer go on doing it the way they've been doing it. And I think it's only when that happens people become willing to change. Like, so you know, I couldn't go around. Let's say if you were still using Paul, I couldn't come up to you and tell you how to surrender or how to change your life or turn it around. Like, this all has to come from within.
Absolutely.
Like,
all you can tell me is how it was for you.
Yeah.
All I can tell someone is how it was for me.
Yeah.
And if enough of us are able to, even with this public forum, voice how it was for us.
Yeah.
Because we have achieved something very few people do, and that's to get off heroin.
Yeah.
Most people don't get off it. They die.
Yeah.
They get sick, or they go on to methadone. It's just like liquid heroin.
Yeah.
And they're on it forever.
Yeah. So things change when you're willing to put the effort in.
Yes.
Is what I'd say. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Because this stuff doesn't just happen overnight.
No,
it's not a miraculous thing that, you know, you wish for and all of a sudden it's fucking, you know, granted.
Yes, and can I add to that? We earn our good feelings that we have today.
Yeah.
We earn our good mood. We earn our right to joy.
Yeah.
We do, because
absolutely.
we sucked up that pain when it was on us.
Yeah, because when you're coming from that place of self-hatred, joy is the last fucking thing you experience. You know
Absolutely,
what I mean?
Bro.
So when you have it and you do get glimpses of it, it's about maintaining it, nurturing your spirit, and
yes, my guy, it's absolutely about that. Are you excited about this new future with this reset and all?
Well, do you know what? I'm kind of just living in the day.
Yes.
Every day, and I'm not looking too far into the future, and I don't even watch stuff on the news about all of this that's going on. I think it's just not me, Paul. I don't want to be feeding into it, and I don't want to hear the negative. Mostly news stuff is negative, and I'm like, I don't need to be fucking hearing it in my life. Do you know what I mean?
Yes,
I'm getting on with what I need to get on with during the day, and whatever else happens, fucking happens anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? But once I'm kind of all right and all...
Well, for my own part though on that, I'm pretty excited because I suppose maybe going into a new business venture like I'm doing, there's that, but there's also, I'm excited because this has never happened before.
Yeah.
I've never seen everything quiet where everything stopped and everyone was taking stock of things.
Yeah.
And it's like we're all waiting for the whistle for the off.
Yeah.
Again. We're all sitting around smoking at the starting line. When is this fucking thing kicking off?
Yeah.
When is life going to start back up? Life hasn't stopped. Shops are closed and nightclubs and shit like that.
Right.
But people, for a lot of people, they feel life has been put on pause.
Yeah, but in certain respect it has, kind of, for a lot of people.
Yes,
I mean,
if your life is all about that.
Yeah.
Do you hear what I'm saying, bro?
Yeah.
If your life is dependent on nightclubs and that kind of a scenario,
then your life has stopped.
Your life has stopped.
Yeah.
But if your life is dependent on feeling good, man, this is just a new opportunity to explore it.
Yeah, that's a great way of looking at it. I suppose. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Explore new ways of feeling good.
Yeah. I definitely think there's a shift in the consciousness of the planet anyway.
Me
And
too,
maybe this is part of it. Maybe this was nature's way of bringing everything to a stop, to kind of evaluate its fucking whereabouts and what it's doing and all. Do you know that way? And
we want a new world, right? We don't want no racism. We don't want no sexism, but especially racism, because that's a huge issue, man. That's got to be wiped out in this new world.
Yeah.
And see these killing bastards that are killing people, these drug dealers that are killing people over here.
Yeah.
And this is my opinion. There's no room for them back here in this town. And any of them that fucked off to Saudi Arabia or Spain, and stay the fuck over there and leave us alone. Leave our kids in peace. There's enough blood in our hands. Allow us to create a new Dublin. I'm excited about that. A new world where we've had time to think. We're going to shift the narrative now.
Yeah.
And get our voice out there. You know, the people of Ireland voted Sinn Féin in.
Yeah.
And the two scumbag government parties that hated each other got together just not to let Sinn Féin in.
Yeah. Yeah.
So next year we're going to do better. Sorry, just got to get that in.
Yeah.
Well, how do you feel about that kind of stuff, Rook? You know, how law and government and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I try my best to stay out of politics as well.
Yes, bro, I get
that's
that.
being honest with you too. It's you know, it's someone said to me, do you know what you're best off doing? It's just stay out of drama. And I kind of take that to a different level, to be honest with you, where I don't want to fucking know. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, bro.
At the same time, you know, I think the country was wronged with what you just said about Sinn Féin and these other two getting in and fucking running the show again, and you know.
Yeah, feel full.
Yeah, like that's not right.
They denied the people the change they asked for.
It's fucking not right. Like, no matter how many ministers they have in the J's as cabinet, who gives a fuck? Like, they were voted in by the people and they didn't get that chance.
Exactly.
You know? So it's robbery of some sort going on, isn't
Absolutely,
it?
bro.
That's me.
Absolutely. You know, the people voted for Sinn Féin.
Yeah.
They wanted that change.
Yeah.
And the only way of stopping that happening was all these parties that are normally the opposite. It's like the Republicans and the Democrats coming together to keep out a new party. And it's just wrong.
Yeah.
Because they denied the people their choice. Their choice was Sinn Féin, the majority, and they conspired to make that impossible.
Yeah.
But this is not about politics here. It's just, I'm just so interested in the war. I'm interested in knowing the opinions of people who are newly clean, because the perspective that people like us have, that new, fresh, clean head.
Yeah.
You know, it's like we're only alive a couple of years.
Yeah.
You know, because we've been dead for so long.
Yeah, yeah, and that is a way of looking at it. It actually is like a rebirth. You know what I mean? Because you've been blinded, you know, by self out there, you know, for years, and it's only when you become awakened a little bit.
Man, I'm so happy to see you doing so well.
Yeah, no, great. And it's great to be here.
It really is. Like I said, and I don't mean that as well, I didn't think you were going to make it.
Yeah, no, I know.
I remember the obsession on you, and I had it too, but I just remember it being really deep in you.
Yeah.
Because you didn't last a day when we came out of that treatment centre the first time.
Wow.
You know, and I remember thinking, oh, geez, poor Ruairc ain't going to make it. But there's me, my judging, but I went down the fucking sewer then for like 5-6 years into complete hell. I thought I'd been to hell, and then I had the last 5 years.
I know, but that's
it was a different dimension, bro. It was horrific stuff.
Yeah,
depression.
That's fucking heavy tack, like.
Self-loathing, like.
Yeah.
And then I see you, man, and I see you when I'm good, you know, I get good and I get well, and then I see like yourself, you're doing well, and it just gives me such a strength of hope.
Yeah.
I really think,
And come here, like, it's vice versa, like, when you see, like, I've seen people who I thought would never get it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Who are actually now living, you know, great lives, like, the fucking lives have just changed, completely changed, like, so when I kind of see them, you know, that kind of made it a little bit more believable for me that I could actually go out and fucking do the same. Do you know
Absolutely,
what I mean?
brother.
You know, that's not to say there was, you know, the part of me as well that used to be going, you'll never get this. You know, you fucking waster, you know, you're going to use for the rest of your life and you're going to die of fucking you as an addict, like. Because that went on too, like, but, you know, the universe had other ideas. Like.
It sure did work. And I'm grateful I am to the universe that it did have different ideas and has allowed both of us to be here today, my friend.
Yeah.
When we think of our fallen soldiers, over the years, like the people that have been lost in this game, man, we are very few of those guys.
Yeah, and so I believe, you know, that things happen for a reason. You know, I don't know what the reason is that I'm actually here today. I don't know. That'll be revealed to me, I'm sure. Like, but you know,
to satisfy my ego, maybe.
But yeah, but you know what I mean.
Yes,
like,
man. Yeah.
It's the journey nonetheless, and I don't need to fucking know. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like hindsight when I look back and see things happening and go, oh right, well that's why that fucking happened and that's great. But like as it is now today, I grew up. You know, I keep it simple. My days just. My days take care of themselves,
yes.
And I just go with the flow.
You go with the
Do you
flow.
know what I mean?
Bro, it's great to see the spirit shining in you, my man. And I'm really proud of you, bro, because I know you had to get through and losing your pops and all.
Yeah,
I lost my dad
actually,
a few years ago.
Yeah.
And it's like you grow up overnight.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
And that's even, right, and I'm glad you kind of mentioned me dad there, right, because I wasn't...
I remember he was a nice man, he drove a Jeep and he had curly shoulderly length hair.
He looked like Grizzly Adams,
he sure did,
the Americans know him.
Man, wasn't he?
He
was a bear of a man,
But like me dad, right, and this is, I just want to say this kind of, it might give people hope, you know, as well. And that you can actually get through anything in recovery and you don't need to fucking use narcotics, like, right? And I'll just kind of briefly go through it, right? My dad was a really, really good golfer, right? Mm-hmm. Now, he was my supporter out of the family. He was my number one bar none, right? So even when I'd given up on myself and everyone else had given up on me, my dad always said I'd come good, right? But he was a really great golfer, right? And I know you have an American audience, Paul, right? So I'm gonna throw this in.
No, I have about 20%, 25% of my subscribers are
right. My dad anyway was asked to captain the Irish team in the year of the gathering, which was 2013, where all the American senators were to come over and play the Irish, right? And it was bringing back the Irish to their homeland, kind of thing. Who, you know, the Irish had emigrated for years, as everyone knows. Like, but anyway, the dad got to captain the team because it was, you know, he was a great golfer, right? And he won the cup for the Irish anyway, beating the Americans, right? And at this picture of him receiving the cup from the tea shop in the Kenny at the time, right? Now the last golf club my dad played for was Ellen Green Golf Club, right? Now so my dad passed away. I was 14 months clean, Paul, right? And I didn't have to use drugs and that, right? But I remember having this picture of him, right, on the bedside locker, and one day I'm leaving the house and nothing happening in my life or anything, you know, nothing that I was struggling with or anything, but for this reason, God knows what the reason was, but I never got on my knees to pray, right? But this particular day, I turned to the picture, it caught me eye for some reason. I turned to the picture and I got on my knees and I says, Dad, allow me to acknowledge your presence in my life. Give me a sign of some sort. I got off my knees and I went about my day, right? I was doing service position in the fellowship I'm in Shockmirror at 4 o'clock that day. I went into the meeting at 4 o'clock that day, up into the room, there was nobody there, and on the chair that I sit down in was a calling card from Ellen Green Golf Club. The last golf club my dad actually played for. Now, that happened on the day that I specifically asked for a sign, like, and you know, that's physical.
That was physical.
There's me card. You know, I'm here with you. So that's physical evidence of whatever it is we go to when we pass on, and whatever it is that's running the show here, like, is in my life. Do you know what I mean?
Absolute evidence that the universe conspires to answer you.
Yeah, and like I keep that in my phone.
Good for you, bro.
It's always.
Look, it's been an absolute delight for me to do this interview because it's been my catch up with you as well. We haven't had a chance to sit down in maybe 5-6 years. And I'm delighted to hear that. I'm hearing this information, you know, about how you're getting on for the first time too, and it's wonderful. But I could see you were doing well, bro. I just saw you down on Facebook some months ago. You were out hill walking in the country, and I just thought, because I know the space you need to be in to do that kind of thing. It's not what a street junkie does, doesn't go out and put boots on and go up the mountains. For what? It's this idea of hell up there where there's no heroin or people or a handbags to snatch or money to be made or a little hole to curl up in. Nobody from the urban street drug culture goes up hill walking. It's not good in their spirit. So I seen you up on the hills on Facebook and I thought, Rook's doing great. I didn't need to know anything now. I just knew you were. Then you got to contact me and here we are.
Yeah. And the only reason is the people that have in my life. Like, I couldn't be doing what I'm doing today without them.
Well, bro, it's been an absolute pleasure, and thank you so much for coming in. And maybe you'll check in with us later down the road, see how you're getting on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or when you have your relapse, we can have another one.
Yeah.
No, man. Hey,
not today.
It could be. You might be filming me, bro.
Yeah.
Well, I've committed to showing my life on this, and if I go downhill, I'm gonna film it too. But I ain't gonna go downhill, bro.
No.
I ain't gonna go downhill.
Please God, no.
No. But I'm doing it as it unfolds. It's reality TV over here at Cold Turkey. Yeah. But Ruairc, thank you, man.
Well,
absolute pleasure.
Pleasure was mine, Pop.
Mine too, brother. Fist bump, yeah. So everybody, that's my good friend Ruairc, and it's great to see him doing well, man. I know the suffering that I had a taste because I knew Ruairc very well from the treatment centre that we spent some time in together. I know what he's had to overcome and achieve to get where he is today, and hey, it's great to see him there. It lifts the heart up, and it shows us that we are legion, us people that are pulling out of this. There's more and more people are getting clean, and they see the uselessness of something like heroin, the destruction and the absolute darkness that it brings into our lives. We see that very clearly. It's very obvious, but as obvious as it was, it didn't stop us going where we had to go. But anyway, guys, Paul Tracy, Cold Turkey, signing out. Stay blessed and have a beautiful weekend. Thank you.